And then Pam,
So,
when we're live streaming on YouTube, are we doing both our video and our avatar? Yeah. Great. Thank you. Just good for me to know, because I thought we were just going to be avatars, but I like this idea of having us going through with our, okay.
yeah. So, I was thinking we could start in the plaza, because that makes sense. That's where everybody starts. And then, yes, you had it over there, the poker place, the ice poker. Yep.
Yeah.
So we're gonna tell the story. So I tried to do some research. There was an article about the poker place that was actually hiring actual people to man the tables in the casino. If you go to that page and follow links, it takes you to this place, which seems to be different to the one referred to in the article. So I don't know if that's evolved into this, but anyway, it doesn't matter. We can tell the story. We can walk around here. If it takes a little while for things to start rendering, but if you look down, you'll see slowly but surely people start popping in and tables start popping in. So again, okay, maybe I should take a step back. We'll start in Genesis Plaza. So I started sketching out a bit of a script. So there'll be people walking about. So Sharon, we'll just discuss some of the basics. So firstly, before we get in there, it's like, well, on our last show, we spoke about boldly stepping into the metaverse metaphorically. Now we're going to be physically stepping in. Well, or literally stepping in. At least our avatars will be. And then we'll go in. We'll start at the Genesis Plaza. We're going to see hopefully a few people walking about, or at least standing about, which seems to be what most people do. There's not much action going on. Then I'll ask some basic questions, like things like how big is Decentraland? And then when you start talking about that, I'll say, well, can we go walk about anywhere? And then maybe Vikesh can switch to that screen with the map, and we can just talk about the fact that it is a physical virtual place, physically limited with size, and then we can start talking a little bit about the notion of property in Decentraland. And we'll just mention it briefly, and we might come back to that later. And then I think we'll say, okay, well, let's just jump straight into our first experience, and that will be the casino. So Vikesh, I think what will happen is I'll jump in, and then hopefully by that stage we'll be friended, and then you and Sharon can follow me easily, and then we'll all three of us be in the casino. We'll kind of move around to make sure that you can see the two of us. Then we'll want to practice maybe Sharon and I walking over to a table, and then you keeping us in shot, which is going to be very interesting. But to be honest, if it doesn't work perfectly, it'll just make it a bit more entertaining, I think, for the live feed. We'll watch a little bit of the gameplay. So literally, we're now looking at a virtual experience. This is the equivalent of us being in an actual casino. And here we can see a table, and there's people standing around, and they're gambling. They're actually gambling. You can see a bit of the action. And then while we're there, we might do things like, well, okay, Sharon, I see everybody's dressed differently. How does that work? We actually seem to have some sort of notion of being able to change our appearance, and we can talk a little bit about that. And you can talk about, the fact that some of these clothes you actually need to purchase in Decentraland. So there's the bit of the economy angle there as well. Mm-hmm. Then we can talk a bit about, again, we'll watch a bit of the action. We can talk about the fact that people are actually gambling there for real money, I believe. I might just check up on that, but I believe when I say real money, it's mana in Decentraland is their currency. So, but which can be converted for actual money and be used to buy things. We can have a bit of a discussion around that. And then we'll talk about the whole notion of people getting jobs in a casino. And again, I'll talk about it in general, because I don't know if that specific casino with those, that's where it's happening. But we can talk about the fact that happened. And then just more generally, that's we step back and say, well, the metaverse, this is one experience. What could the future of jobs look like in the metaverse? It's not just about a physical job in a casino or virtual job in a casino. It's how is the metaverse going to change the jobs we do today? I mean, what's the experience going to be for the equivalent of having meetings? Today we jump on Teams or Zoom, but we'll be able to get together in the metaverse and have maybe more immersive meetings. There'll be various jobs around creating content for the metaverse we know exists already. So we can just have a general discussion around what that's going to look like in the future. Because as we said, for each of these different experiences, we wanted to look around, kind of comment on things, make it entertaining, and then talk about, well, where things are today based on what we're seeing. And I don't know about you, what your point of view is on this, Sharon. If we see some experiences that are actually a little bit, not that great, not that advanced, that's still emerging, I think we should just call it out, because we should say, this is not state of the art. I mean, or it might be approaching state of the art for today, but obviously the future excitement about the metaverse is about what this is going to grow into. And then we'll talk about some of those, where this could go to in future. But I think somewhere along the line, we do need to just recognize the fact that Decentraland looks very much like a computer game from the late to mid 2000s, more than anything else.
Hello.
All right,
how's my sound, Em? Is mine okay too? I'm a little low. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yep.
Is that why I sound so quiet in these shows? You just let the cat out of the bag, Pam. You actually turned me down.
So, Greg, I'm going to share, just based on that script, so I'm going to share overall stats on on Decentraland versus Sandbox and talk about that at the beginning when we first kick off. Then I'm going to talk about just in terms of what Decentraland, what they've been doing and what they stand for. I'm just thinking about the script as you were taking through, because my goal is obviously to have data on all these ideas. Then when we talk about the avatars, the big companies that are doing skins and dressing the avatars, and talking about sort of what Instagram